Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Today's episode is from Westernport, chasing King George whiting with our friend Charlo.
And along us we had Benji, Loris, Bernard. Before we go into that segment, we're actually going to go, and I'm just going to say there is heaps and heaps of gummy sharks around. If you chase them, this is the time for it. Also, in Port Phillip, from Leopold all the way around Port Donington to St Leonards, we're getting some nice King George whiting at the moment. Bit tough on squid. We just, didn't get much squid last week. We got a few, but very tough. But apparently they're on the other side, Portsea and Ray.
Right.
Yeah. Also today, we're going to have a new toy to show you.
That's right. Charlo from Seavu brought his new invention with him, and it's an underwater gadget or kit, and it was the first time that we tried it out.
Yep, we tested, we like it, and since the underwater segment in our TV show is the most popular, we're going to have plenty of that for you in the future. So let's watch the first video.
Enjoy.
Well, it's very early in the morning and we are on the way to Stony Point. As we got in a tunnel, surprise. These green lights will guide you not to drive more than 80 kilometers per hour. So don't worry, Big Brother got your back. Anyway, we got to the Stony Point at first light and we launched. This time with me and Mima, we had our friend Charlo, who actually has a surprise for us today. As you know, our underwater footage is the most popular footage in our TV show. But Charlo took that to the next level. So if you watch today's episode, you're gonna find out how. Also, along with us was our friend Bernard and his crew. The mission today was to go through the eastern entrance all the way towards Kilcunda and troll for some tuna. As we approached San Remo and went under the bridge, everything looked promising. The water was calm, the sun was up, everything looked really, really good. As you see, Charlo was happy, I was concentrating to get through the narrow passage, and we were out in the open in no time. As we got out there, the swells were a little bit bigger than what they predicted. I was talking to Loris on VHF, and we tried to push through, but slowly the actual water started to break, the swells started to get bigger, and it was just a little bit uncomfortable. In front of us, we had no birds, no tuna on the sounder. It was quite dead, so we made a decision to make a U-turn. We stopped in the sheltered corner at the very entrance, and before you know, Charlo got the target fish, King George whiting. We were quite excited and that was very promising. So I set up the cameras and the game was on. Charlo was using Riddy's Paternoster rig and Mima had Riddy's Tinganoster rig, also called Westernport rig. In the meantime on VHF I was talking to Bernard and Loris, and all they got over there was wrasse. And here we go again, Charlo was on, but this time it was wrasse. Normally we would keep the wrasse to target gummy sharks, but because we didn't have a plan to go for gummies, we actually put all the wrasse back. Then I set up my burley bucket and the camera and I did put it down to get some footage. Checking the footage later on, all I seen under was the pufferfish. But here, have a look what happens? My belly bucket sits nice, and then because of the current, just drops. And this is the problem I've been getting quite lately, and because of that I'm not getting nice and steady footage. So that's why I say at the beginning, keep on watching this video, because Charlo's invention, it's our new toy, and it is a game changer. In meantime, toadies or pufferfish was ripping us off like no tomorrow. Then here we go again, Charlo's on another fish, and this time another beautiful King George whiting. In this area we only got few, but I can tell you they were actually quite nice size. Because of the tiny nibbles, you can see Mima and Charlo concentrating to the max, because the pufferfish was actually pinching all our bite. But in between them, we managed quite few King George whiting. As I mentioned before, all the whiting here was quite nice size.
Another one bites us.
There were not many King George whiting around, but they still put a smile on our faces.
As you saw in the first video, the plan was to chase some tuna, but the weather really wasn't on our side, so we went to plan B, which was chasing King George whiting.
We are at the actual entrance, eastern entrance of Westernport, and in next video you're gonna see Charlo actually showed us how this gadget works and what's meant to do.
Let's watch the next video.
Well, as I mentioned before, I had issues with my bucket and a camera falling down and not getting actually nice steady footage. So Charlo decided to show us his new invention. Today we're only going to use the tripod. The tripod actually gets dropped down and it's going to record the bottom of the ocean. With this system you can use GoPros, you can use DJI, it's your preference. The way this unit is designed, it has 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi transmitter. Well, that will allow you to see a live feed from your GoPro or your DJI action camera straight on your iPhone. The way this unit is designed, it's very clever. It does not need any batteries, or you don't need to recharge it. It doesn't need any power. So really, basically plug your camera in the box and just watch it on the phone. Well, of course, if you're fishing, you do not want to keep your eye on the phone all the time. But you can see how steady this unit is. And if by any chance falls down, you can see it live, so you just lift the cable and put it back on. Here you can see a shot from my belly bucket, and you can see how steady this unit is. My belly bucket obviously moves and shakes because obviously the current and it's too light, but the tripod just sticks to the ground. Well, we didn't see any King George whiting, but guess what? Charlo was still catching them. We only got few in this area, but actually they were really nice size. I was trying quite a few different techniques and different bite to see if I can get the King George whiting going, but yeah, as you see on the camera, there was millions of puffers. So what do I get? Of course, a puffer. Well, we collected some footage and then we decided to take the unit out and move to another spot. In the meantime, we had the 12 o'clock ferry with some very happy customers passing by.
In the next video we actually made a move and now we are fishing silver leaves.
That's right, we're here only in a couple meters of water. That's our second destination for the day. And yeah, the whiting went on while the tide was moving, but once the flow stopped, they stopped as well.
Let's watch the next video.
It was just past 12 o'clock and it was time to move. This time we were on the way to silver leaves. Here we normally fish in very shallow water. As you know, teamwork is very important. I would normally load the rods, Mima would cast it, catch the fish, she brings the fish in, she would have the next rod ready. Then we would swap hands, I would grab the fish, take her off the hook and load that rod again. In meantime, I would put the camera on my Trailblazer gadgets and catch all the action. Back in the days, to get some great footage, you would have a dedicated person zooming in your face, being on your way, tripping over it, you know. This time we got the Trailblazer and we put one camera on the dashboard, one camera on the bite board and the other one like on the side of the boat. To achieve the same result back in time, you would need 3 dedicated people to be behind the camera. Well, thanks to Trailblazer and the quality of the new action cameras, you can do all this with ease. There are a few tricks and initial settings of your cameras to get the best footage you can, and we promised this before that we're gonna make a dedicated video on setting up your camera, the quality, the frame rate, the megahertz, so you can actually present it and get the best footage you can for your TV, and you can make your own TV show, I believe. Well, in meantime, we were still getting some fish. Well, this whiting wasn't as big as the one from the eastern entrance, but they were still nice size fish. As far as the bite is concerned, we were mixing up squid with actual pilchard as we normally do, or squid and pippies. I didn't have any mussel, but that would work, I believe, just as good. The trick was to keep the rod in the hand and not to react on the first bite. They normally come, they nibble it, and they let it go, and on the second bite they actually grab it. The King George whiting were not in big numbers here, but yeah, they were still fun to catch, and it put a bit of challenge, I suppose. It's more interesting when actually you have to work for them than just throw and pick them up. At this spot, Riddy's Tinganost rig, or Westernport rig, whatever they call it, was actually the go-to rig. If you had a Paternoster rig here, you would most likely get either a puffer or maybe a flathead. Then we decided to drop the Seavu again and see what's underneath us. Well, not surprising, it was only puffer fish on the video. Funny enough, we were still catching King George whiting.
Our next stop and final destination for the day was the Middle Spit.
Yeah, this is actually Bernard's area. They fish here quite a lot. Brett Reed does as well. They're pretty good in this area. We, for the first time actually, along Bernard, trying catching some King George here. But we only spent about 20 minutes. We were waiting for Brett just to say hi. And yeah, for us it was a long day, so we left.
Let's watch the last video of this adventure.
Well, this time we on location number 3, the Middle Spit. Thanks to our friend Benji, we got this beautiful drone footage, and yeah, we started chasing whiting again in this area. The Middle Spit is actually quite popular for King George whiting, but you must be there as the tide flows. You cannot be there on a slack. It is fair to say that Bernard and the crew know this area much better than us, and yeah, they got quite a bit of fish here. As you see, Bernard's using his favorite Tinganost rig, and he loads it with a just small piece of squid. Pippies, mussels, also pilchard here, is very effective when you chase King George whiting. In this picture here, you can actually see clearly the drop-off. That's the edge where we actually chase King George whiting. Having a drone on the boat, it's actually really nice, but also risky. One thing about the drone, you can actually lift it up and see the ground, the sand, the grass, and basically you can actually pinpoint the spot where you want to target the whiting. Beside whiting, there is some flatheads here as well. We spent about half an hour in this area. I actually waited for my friend Brett Reed, and when he came down we had a chat, and it was time for us to go as we got up very early. One more thing to say, when the flow picked up here, Brett and Bernard, they both backed out on King George whiting. Westernport, definitely an amazing place to fish.
The next short clip is actually how to butterfly a King George whiting. And John Formosa, one of our Happy Fisherman guys, gonna show it.
Enjoy.
Today we're going to show you how to fillet a King George whiting in a butterfly fillet. As you can see, we've started to butterfly some of our fish. So you just slice along the head area on about a 35-degree angle. Then you hold the fish upright and you start to cut along the rib cage. Make sure you got a nice sharp knife. As you can see, you just pull the fillet away as you're cutting along, like that, and then you do the other side, which is basically a mirror image. Now this is the way some old guys have taught me how to butterfly fillet. I mean, everybody can butterfly their own way, but this is the way I've been taught. So basically you end up with a fillet like that. You basically pull the fish back, and that's what you end up with, a nice butterfly fillet. Job's done.
The next video, it's a bit of fun. When we don't work and we don't edit all these videos and that, I actually get to spend some time with my kids and Jerry and Mima. And yeah, we play guitar and we come up with new version of Happy Fisherman song.
Let's watch it.
Every year we're doing this. We're actually testing the guitars. Testing Tata if we can play. That's my son Dorian. There's my son Adrian and my son Jerry. So we play everything from something. That, then we go to Dorian's favorite, which is the actual famous. And then we go to Timmy's favorite. This time we're gonna play something different. Are you guys ready? If they were born in a punk era, like, should I stay or should I go? We will be singing a Happy Fisherman song like this. Happy Halloween. When I can. Before we go, I would like to thank again everybody that purchased our t-shirts and thank you for your support.
Thank you for watching and we will see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisher.